Hey, RetconRaider here. Today's video is dedicated to Leroy Nukenson and the cursed Typewriter. Thanks for your support, guys. That said, let's get started. And welcome back to the Wasteland 3 beta. As we tie up a few loose ends, make some final preparations, and then go for a leisurely stroll through the Garden of the Gods. Now, we just got back to Ranger Headquarters, and as you can see, we're already being hit with a new wave of tutorials, so I guess we'll start with that. Ranger Headquarters, managing your squad. Now that you've got a full party, you might want to kick someone out to make room for fresh blood. Talk with Sergeant Greatsky to manage your party and recruit new rangers. That's actually pretty interesting. Like the original Wasteland, and unlike Wasteland 2, Wasteland 3 lets you recruit a potentially infinite number of rangers, either to try out new skill sets or simply to replace rangers who fall in the line of duty. It is worth noting, though, that any new recruits will come in at a level equal to the lowest leveled ranger in your current party. So, plan accordingly. Ah, we've got a roving fox, too. Let's see if we can add that thing to our party. Ah, guess not. Wow, that thing really booked it. Alright, well, we've got other things we need to do anyway. Huh. Looks like Greatsky cleared out that trap for us. That was nice of him. Wow, okay. A full set of Radtech armor and a partial set of mercenary armor. Well, we're off to a good start here.
Stay sharp.
Thanks, random guy.
Welcome back, Rangers. I hope you like what we've done with the place. The worst of the mess is cleaned up. Now, what can I help you with?
Got any deliveries for us?
Diligent Joe came by with the supplies you asked for. Should help us get on our feet. Anytime, Rangers. Always happy to tell war stories.
Intriguing.
So long, Rangers. I'll be in the war room if you need me.
Army flamethrower, SWAT rifle, and a striker auto shotgun. Very nice. That's some pretty solid mid-tier gear. I suppose the real question will be whether we can actually hit anything with this stuff.
Still not feeling great after everything at the lake. Hope you don't mind if I take a little more time.
Sure. Just, take your time, Jody.
Later!
There's the Kodiak, right?
Happy to help the refugees, but damn, it's tight in here now.
Right next to the vehicle customization station, which we can't actually use in the current beta. Oh, and there's Doc Parker. Ranger Headquarters, Medbay. You've unlocked the Medbay. Here you can shop for medical supplies. You can also speak to the doctor to get free health care. Rangers are renowned for having a great benefits package. You sure about that? I feel like Rangers are renowned for dying en masse, but what do I know?
Hey, Rangers. I'm here at last. It'll take a while, but I think I'll be able to make an actual surgery out of this place. Just need to call in a few favors for equipment and supplies. If you need treatment now, well, I think I'm ready for that. What do you need?
How's that patient of yours?
Fine. Everything is fine. For now.
Yeah, we'd like to be patched up.
I'll do what I can. Have a seat.
Do you have any medical supplies you could sell us?
I brought a few things over from the garage. Not much yet, but...
Okay. As the tutorial stated, Doc Parker is a basic medical vendor. Though he does seem to be a bit more specialized than Mary out in the marketplace. He's definitely got better quantities. And I'm sure over time you'll also be able to improve his stock or maybe get better prices. For now, though, I think we're fine, so moving on. This woman's head is wrapped in bandages. Her breathing is shallow, but steady. I think it's safe to say that she's part of a future quest. Something we can't actually do just yet. And it looks like they did not disarm the trap in the armory. All right, Orcblood, you're up. Oh, good. He walked through it and then knelt down to disarm it. I'm not gonna lie, that's a little frustrating, but we will live. At least we got a grenade out of the deal. Doc, we require your assistance again.
What do you need, Rangers?
Orcblood has lit himself on fire.
Sure. Have a seat. If it ain't cut, don't stitch it.
That is a valid observation. Thanks, Doc.
Powdered or glazed?
What? Who is this?
Jimmy at Iron Thunder Transport. We're bringing you your new water heater and we're getting donuts on the way, so powder or glazed?
Clear the channel, Jimmy. This is emergency only. No nonsense.
Oh, sorry.
And glazed. Damn it.
Ah, yes, sir.
Think I like Jimmy.
It'd be good to find more permanent housing for the refugees. It's hard to settle in when you know you might have to move again.
That is a valid point. I'm assuming finding proper housing for them is part of a future quest.
Anytime.
You'll notice that Greatski cleared out all the loot containers here, so you will miss anything you didn't get on your first pass. Encyclopedia Robotica. A heavily used guide to Colorado robots. Welcome to the 9th edition of Encyclopedia Robotica, the definitive repository of knowledge about all of Colorado's synthetic citizens. This 12-volume series will expound upon both the types of robots found throughout the snowy expanses and high elevations of the state, as well as their detailed histories. You will discover exciting new facts of which you were never aware. For example, whose idea was it and how drunk were they when they decided to attach giant saw blades to multi-legged robots and then turn them loose on a population made almost entirely of sawable flesh? Also, did you know our spider bots were designed to operate on uneven and treacherous terrain, and that their inventors only later realized giant robotic spiders looked utterly terrifying to most humans? Perhaps you are researching Colorado robots for practical purposes, such as your family's survival. If so, Encyclopedia Robotica is your ultimate guide. Never again lose a loved one to the dreaded Hopper robot, the leaping automatons designed to carry all manner of explosive nuisances, from gas bombs to small tactical nuclear devices. You will learn how to prevent yourself and others from being electrocuted by shock dogs. Hint, avoid the prongs. Conversely, servitor bots can be life-saving medical assistants and are often utilized well for that purpose. However, their ability to manipulate tools means you should never give one a loaded machine gun. All this information and more awaits you as you turn to the next pages of this introductory volume. Enjoy your journey exploring the diverse and only marginally lethal world of Colorado's robots. Dr. Horvin Fitzgerald, Ph.D., a human doctor of robotics and definitely not a robot himself. First up, I'm going to say I genuinely hope there are more volumes of that series throughout the rest of the game. Aside from that, though, it is a pretty cool glimpse of enemies we'll be facing later in the game. No, we need to head to the archive room. There was a file here we couldn't read last time, so we'll go ahead and bump up Dr. Longway's nerd stuff. And I guess we'll sink his last point into small arms. Yeah, that removes the malice on his M1911. Alright, let's see what we've got here. This log has been erased, but wasn't properly scrambled. You're able to flag the data as not deleted, and the log appears in your list. Personal log, Colonel Forschetti, July 2nd, 2000. Another suicide today. We're too visible here. Peterson is defensible, but the siege is exhausting, physically and mentally. Too many buckling under the strain. We need a better solution before there are none of us left. I'm planning an evacuation to the secondary complex. The sooner we abandon this hellhole, the better. Interesting. Looks like we've got one more file here we can't access in the beta, but they did tell us a little. I'm guessing that secondary complex is where we'll find the passcode for that mysterious door beneath our new base. But I guess we will have to wait and see. Okay, let's pay the refugees a quick visit, and then it's back to the brig.
Let's find them now. What happens if they get more recruits?
Don't worry about it. They've taken care of us so far, haven't they?
Yeah, but when push comes to shove...
We'll see. We'll see.
We're pitching in where we can. I hope we've been some help at least. Anything you need?
No, I guess not.
Careful out there. It's an uncaring world.
Huh. I see we've still got a corpse decorating our floor. Good job, Greatsky. And now it's time to cheese out a little. It is worth noting that, for better or worse, in Wasteland 3, skill check XP is only given to the character who actually performs the check, rather than being split over the entire party. That does mean that your utility skill characters will often end up gaining experience points a good bit faster than your dedicated combat characters. So just another thing to take into account when you design your squad. Level up, but just for Lulalu. And that brings us to this guy. You mostly suggested that I let the poor guy go, so I guess that's what we'll do. I'm not sure we'll actually see consequences in the beta, but I will be curious to see what that does in the full campaign.
Oh, yay! Thank you so much, man. I owe you big, real big time. This won't be the last time you hear from me. I promise.
I'm sure we won't regret that at all.
Thanks for, the assist, dudes. I owe you big time.
That sounds like a perfectly normal and not at all ominous way to thank someone. You're welcome. At any rate, I think we're pretty much done here, so let's head back to town.
Heard you killed that synth that was hiding downtown. If anything can make Wolf smile, that'd be it.
Interesting. Gary Wolf was a recruitable character back in Wasteland 2. That could mean he's making a return appearance. Or it could just be another character with a similar name. Anyway, let's knock out those level ups real quick. Just like last time, we'll save our skill points until we actually need them. But we will go ahead and assign our attribute and perk points. I guess we'll start by making Retcon a little more durable. An extra point of strength should do the trick. Then we've got Orcblood, and we'll go ahead and boost his speed. We'll boost Longway speed as well. And Lula actually has 2 attribute points to spend, so we'll put those in coordination, which will net her an extra action point. Then we've got Quan, and we'll go ahead and shore up his luck. Among other things, that's actually your primary source of penetration, which is particularly important for low damage, high rate of fire weapons. And that brings us to Lucia, who obviously is far too fragile, probably because she's like 19 years old. So we'll go ahead and put her point into strength. I guess we'll keep Orcblood focused on mobility. We'll go ahead and grab Move Up, which grants him a significant speed boost on the first turn of every fight. Then for Long Way, not a lot of practical options here, so we'll just grab Opportunist. That will let him make more frequent precision attacks. Lula's in a similar boat, so we'll just give her Mark Target. That will allow her to debuff a single target for focused fire. I guess we'll just keep Quan focused on combat. We'll boost his assault skill. And yeah, we'll grab Gopher Hunter. That's a nice basic bonus for all assault weapons. The other two options aren't bad, but they do essentially require you to choose between assault rifles or submachine guns. And Lucia. I suppose the obvious choice here is to pick up Opportunist, like we did with Dr. Longway. But I think we'll take her in a slightly different direction. She's actually got a higher barter and weapon mod skill than anyone else in the party. Let's go ahead and have her focus on that instead. Yeah, our next stop is the marketplace, so we'll go ahead and put all of her points into barter. In fact, we will go ahead and double down by also taking Penny Pincher, which grants an additional 20% discount when you purchase multiple items at a time. Okay, one more stop and we'll be ready for the garden.
Extra! Cowardly attack on Colorado Springs!
Oh, you know what? Let's go check out the tailor shop. See if he's up and running.
Look, Martha, it's our friends who helped us save the shop. What can I do for you? We've got some discounts with your name on them.
You and your wife get along well?
Hardly a crossword between us.
She says nothing, but rolls her eyes behind him. What can you tell me about your shop?
Been making clothes and adornments for the 100 families for 30 years. Most of them won't buy from anybody else. Of course, we sell to regular folks too. Plenty of less expensive items in stock, repurposed or restored garments mostly.
Show me what you have for sale. The old man smiles happily and starts showing you his wares. And unsurprisingly, looks like he's got a pretty decent selection of armor and armor mods. He's also got what appears to be an assortment of cosmetic outfits. That's promising. We did see that appearance modification station back in the barracks. It's just disabled in the current beta. Anyway, we do have a lot of shopping to do, but that actually brings us to one of the bigger drawbacks in the current beta. You may have already noticed, but there's no auto-sort function in the current inventory, and while they do have category tabs, you can't actually use them when you're in the shop. Even more unfortunate, we have a bunch of junk to sell, but there's no sell all junk feature, so we have to track each item down and sell it individually. That said, rather than have you sit through all that, let's hit the pause button. I'll take care of the shopping and inventory management off screen, and we'll pick things up once we're ready to head back out. We'll be right back. And we're back. Our inventory's cleaned out, our arsenal is fully updated, and it turns out the Penny Pincher perk actually did end up coming in handy. Granted, you can only actually use it on things you purchase in stacks, like ammo or explosives, but that extra 20% discount is pretty substantial. Anyway, I think we're just about as ready as we're ever going to be, so let's do this.
Whoever just came up from the city, come in. This is Bellamy Ward. There are Dorsey's all over the garden. I'm pinned down on a high ledge. Can you reach me?
We're the Rangers. Sit tight. We'll take care of the Dorseys.
Oh, thank God. I'll call out if I see you, as long as it's safe. Hey! You on the ledge! Hands up!
Of course.
Oh no, they found me.
Well, guess we better go save this guy. Leafy green vegetables are happily growing atop this rock spire, warmed by solar collectors and other weird devices. The snow melts into droplets of water before it reaches them. Interesting. Big old block of ice. And a conspicuously placed heat lamp. Not exactly subtle. Photon amplification lens. Ah, got some enemies too. For suture kits. I think that's a not-so-subtle warning we're about to run into some bleeding damage.
Get down from there, or we're coming up!
You don't want to do that!
Oh, yeah? Why not? I don't see no explosives. Where are they? Hey! Where did you come from? Back the hell off, or you're dead!
Guess we got a little too close there. Well, we are definitely not mincing words this time.
Oh, shit! You started it, we'll finish it.
Nice, okay, so if you choose the aggressive response, you do get the first turn. Good to know. Alright, first things first, let's get our squad under cover. Oof, just hold your fire for a second, Orcblood. Looks like about half these guys are melee fighters anyway. Really?
Murder time.
Might bit excessive there, Orcblood.
Losing blood.
And there's that bleeding damage. Really, it's the entrenched guys we have to worry about. Huh. Wonder why he's only firing in single shot. Should be a 3-round burst. Thank you, Lula.
Don't do this! Please!
Covering this side.
The young gentleman is covered with dirt and shivering from the cold. His eyes are wide and shocked.
Oh God. Did the Patriarch send you? I'm sorry. I need to warn you. The Dorseys are gathering up ahead between the Gateway Rocks.
Bellamy! Bellamy, look at me. Have you seen my family? Are they here?
Lucia? I thought you were with your family. Oh, thank God you're not. Thank God. They went up ahead with their hostages, but... Lucia, I heard gunfire and screaming. You need to be ready for the worst.
If they've done anything to my people, I'm going to end them all.
Her eyes brim with tears, and she turns away angrily when she sees you looking.
Please do. I'll tell whatever I can to help. It's not much, but...
Who are you, and what are you doing here?
My name is Bellamy Ward. I'm a scientist. I invented the solar collectors and experimental farms on top of the rocks. I was calibrating the solar arrays when the Dorseys came through here, herding their hostages with them. So I hid up here and kept out of sight. They're savages. Animals. They beat those people. Laughed at them when they begged for their lives. The kids were screaming, so they beat them too. Then they dragged them all further on, toward their camp.
Do you really have this place rigged with explosives?
God, no, I was stalling for time. If I had a few hours and the right chemicals, though, I could have prepared quite a surprise for them.
What was the material you used for the solar collectors?
A while ago, we found some old, non-functional solar panels from before the deluge of fire. I couldn't figure out their function at first, until I recovered a microcircuitry board and developed a laser spectrography process. I realized that I could help solve some of the electrical generation issues that have always been a problem for the city.
How do you get enough solar power in this weather?
The PALs, photon amplification lenses. They harness and focus the ambient light. It's fascinating, actually. They polarize the waves and create constructive interference. Normally, they maintain a stable temperature for the plants, but they can be adjusted to help power the solar collectors, or even thaw frozen components. I once coupled a PAL with a dynamic cross-photon matrix. I was trying to cook some bison steaks, but it incinerated the whole fire pit, melted the entire grill. Goes to show what can happen if you put a decimal in the wrong place.
Solar-powered laser. Got it. Where are the hostages?
I think they took everyone to their camp, just past the Gateway Rocks.
What about my family, Belle?
Last I saw them, they were all right. They were scared and a little banged up, but they were still alive.
All right, we'll take care of it.
You saved my life. I won't forget it.
Let's do a quick sweep for loot. Huh. Getting some weird noises here. The Gospel of Nick. No, not that Nick. The other Nick. An excerpt from the very poorly handwritten Holy Deluge Bible. Well, we've got to check that out. And yea, did the prophet Nick, who used to work at the Bargain Village Electronics Emporium next to that pizza place that went out of business after the E. coli outbreak, say unto the first followers of the Church of the Holy Deluge, has not the final deluge, that great rain of cleansing fire, given our children a new beginning by washing away all the false trappings of the old world? And then did Nick hold aloft a shatterproof airline coffee pot. Do you still worship this? He asked, and his followers exulted, Nay. Then did Nick hold aloft a compact disc jewel case inscribed, Awesome Dance Hits, Volume 47, and he asked them again, Do you still worship this? And again his followers exulted, Nay. He then held aloft a metal rotary blender, and then a copy of Teen Crushes magazine, and then a resealable plastic bag filled with disposable cameras, probably from a wedding. All were denied by the flock. So, with righteous fury and revel, did Nick toss the relics of the old world into the ceremonial fire, which that day was represented by a microwave hooked up to a hand-crank generator, because the other Nick lost the flint to make the real fire. Tomorrow shall we incinerate this cursed microwave too, he promised his followers. Or possibly next week if we cannot locate the flint, or a suitable replacement. And the entire flock did rejoice, except for the other Nick, who was still being shunned for losing the flint. Yeah, that seems about right. Always a pleasure to learn about post-apocalyptic culture. That's a shame. Giant eggplant. Oh. Bellamy might be trying to overcompensate for something. Sure, like smaller eggplants. Bella-meow. Words cannot express my disappointment. Dynamic cross-photon matrix. Well, it's a dynamic matrix that crosses photons. Clearly. Bellamy test number 110. The label on this cassette tape has several scratched out lines on it. The only line not scratched out is the final one, which reads, Test number 110.
All right. This is Bellamy Ward, PAL operational test number, 110. I've adjusted the angle of the solar collectors by 3.12 degrees to improve the energy transmission from the photonic amplification lenses. I've also attached a more sensitive voltmeter to the test panel, so I can hopefully get a more accurate reading of the conversion rate. Everything's set. Here we go. The photon amplification lenses are operating at 60% ambient light, approximately what we would expect on a typical day in Colorado Springs. Checking the voltmeter now. Yes, it's working. Energy storage is 12% above norm. This is better than I hoped. Now, if I can get the storage rate up to 25%, we'll have surplus power running into the batteries each day. For the first time since the deluge of fire, Colorado Springs will have all the electricity it needs. I can't wait to show this to Theo and Megan. They'll be so excited.
Interesting. Not sure what we can do with that. Frozen ferret launcher. This weapon is responsible for some unusual obituaries. Okay then. Frozen ferret. Is it animal cruelty if they're already dead? Razor box. This kit includes everything you need to make a melee weapon more pointy and scary. 50% chance to apply bleeding. I've gotta say, I'm starting to wonder about Bellamy. Brainwave destabilizer. Its microwaves can scramble neural pathways, making targets confuse friends with foes. May cause tumors. Okay, that one actually sounds useful. Kumite, a history. The underground sport of hand-to-hand combat revealed. Permanently increases brawling by 1. Well, sadly, most of that stuff does sound pretty useless for our squad, but I do feel compelled to try at least some of it out. Yeah, I guess that pistol's mostly just a placeholder anyway. Energy damage type. You've equipped an energy weapon. Energy weapons are amazing bits of advanced tech that ignore enemy armor entirely. Some enemies are even conductive, giving you bonus crit chance and crit damage when targeting them. Increase your weird science skill to improve your effectiveness versus conductive enemies. It appears that Brainwave Destabilizer has unequipped both of our weapon slots. I'm not sure if that's intentional or not. Let's see if we can power up this computer. Simple enough. The interface of the computer has been customized with a cartoonish plant-based theme. A large eggplant smiles and presents what looks like a game menu. Sure, I'll bite. You were assigned an avatar of a cob of corn. It stated your name was auto-generated, but you have doubts that Bellamy's was random. Bellamy Land. Your vegetable avatar seems to be in a desert garden. You decide to stop after a series of events lead to all the cacti being slaughtered in a garden, and some guy with a BB gun started hunting you down. Wow, let's try the sequel. Your vegetable avatar seems to be in that same desert garden. The game starts at the funeral of a fellow vegetable. The game ends abruptly after you wonder what would happen if you dug up his grave. Shot to death. That was the answer. You're a weird guy, Bellamy. Let's dig a little deeper. Which appears to have a map called Garden of Bellamy. Bellamy appears to have modeled his entire workshop in the game. The only difference you notice is there is no computer, and the electronic safe is connected directly to a generator. You launch Bellamy Land 3, and your vegetable avatar repairs the generator. Oh, nice. That's a weird way to lock your safe, but I think we've pretty well established that Bellamy is a weird guy. Aramid pads. Some very practical people have salvaged damaged Kevlar vests into individual pads that can be attached to a complete torso armor. Found some pretty decent stuff here. Let's keep moving. Oh my. Okay, let's hang back. See if we can find an alternate route. We don't have nearly enough cover from this side. Waste wolves. Interesting. You know what? I guess this is as good a time as any to try out that ferret launcher. Oh, wow. Okay, it's a single target weapon, like a cannon. Might as well give it a shot. Gotta say, kind of underwhelmed. They'll have to come to us, so we'll just line up and prep our guns. Wow, these things are actually kind of hard to hit.
some cover.
Okay, I got slightly mauled there. No big deal. Okay. Oh, thank goodness. Well, that was slightly more harrowing than I expected it to be. But, to be fair, I have been neglecting some of our combat skills. In fact, let's go ahead and fix that now. I really shouldn't have neglected charisma so much either. That XP boost is pretty significant. But I guess for now we'll just focus on 2 hit. Aha! Oh my! You know what? It is about time that Prospector quirk actually kicked in. I was starting to think it was completely wasted. And another creepy doll. Keen Karen. Sweet and mousy is her look, but she's got your secrets in her book. +1 perception to the entire party. Not too shabby. And that gives us a pretty good vantage point, along with one of these solar lasers. Okay, I think it's time to pull out the stops here. Let's get some explosives equipped. And we'll have Orcblood and Quinn circle off to the south. Meanwhile, we'll get Longway on that computer. The interface for the photon amplification lens looks simple. Most routines are automated, but there are some controls you can adjust. Let's get that dynamic cross-photon matrix in place. Those photons aren't going to cross themselves. You remove a component labeled Passive Cross-Photon Matrix and install the Dynamic Cross-Photon Matrix. There is a short hiss and the piece starts smelling of ozone. Probably not a problem. Probably. Adjust photon collection? Photon collection is at its lowest setting, currently reading 10.0. On the screen, an animated flower wears sunglasses and cringes from glaring sun rays. Oh, okay. You twist the knob to the right. A low hum grows in strength. Photon collection is at its highest setting, currently reading 100.0. An animated flower on the screen cackles in delight as it rides a fiery steed of the apocalypse. And here we go. A happy flower appears on the screen. It says, "PAL activated, pal."
Who put this here? They've spotted us.
Well, we probably could have timed that better, but too late for regrets. Let's do this. Slicer Dicer deployed. Yikes. Okay.
Gonna cut you down.
Oh, rally. That's a good idea. Okay, let's take this guy out.
Fire upon you! My Dorsies, remember.
Thank you, Lulalu. Alright, let's start bringing our short-range fighters up the side here. Pistol's dry. Switching to shoddy. What in the world? Strikes. Your strike meter is full. Each weapon type has a unique strike, a powerful special attack that can turn the tide of battle. Your weapon has the precision strike. Click the strike icon to give it a shot. Sure, why not? Not that it's really necessary at this point. That Slicer Dicer destroyed them. Well, guess we really don't need that rocket, do we? We're pretty much done here. Alas, the noble Slicer Dicer has fallen. Predictable.
What's in that pit?
Oh, jeez. Let's focus on looting first. Wolf Skull Ornament. Vehicle upgrade. Hood ornament. You've unlocked a vehicle upgrade. Return to Ranger headquarters to install it onto the Kodiak. That's some interesting upgrades in the art there. And a whole lot of junk. I kind of miss when these guys would drop actual weapons and armor. Booze. Okay, a fair amount of armor. Oh boy, that is definitely a charnel pit. Nearly spherical in shape, this plump specimen waddles contentedly along, pecking at the ground. For some reason, someone implanted metal devices into its body. Cluck cluck? It tilts its head one way and another, scrutinizing you with one eye and then the next. Well, Lula's got points to spare, so... The cybernetic bird cocks its head at you. Follow us. It pecks the ground once, head tilting this way and that, before it begins bobbing after you. At any rate, I guess we shouldn't put off the inevitable. The scent of charred meat and burnt hair wafts from the pit. Smoking bodies, contorted by agony or post-mortem muscle contraction, lie curled atop one another. It is impossible to identify the corpses, but they appear to be both adults and children. Lucia stares at the bodies. Her knuckles are white on the grips of her guns, and her breath comes in little gasps. Any sign of your family?
No. Can't see a thing. Who would do this? Who would murder families and children? Who would burn them so badly that we can't even tell?
She breathes deeply.
I don't know if they're here or not. I can't... Come on. Let's find the monsters who did this.
Near the edge of the pit, a child-sized corpse appears to be clutching something, as if they were protecting it, or hiding it.
That was one of the Schuyler girls, I think. Seems like we ought to leave her alone. Feels an awful lot like grave robbing.
Lucia turns away, looking like she's going to be sick. Yeah, I'm not gonna argue with that. Nothing else in the pit catches your attention. The bodies and any other items they carried are burned beyond recognition. Oh boy. Boy, oh boy. Wasteland 3. The clothes on this young man are impeccably tailored, the height of local fashion. He holds his hands up and launches into what is obviously a prepared speech.
I'm Isaac Reed. On behalf of all of us here, I want to offer our unconditional surrender. As proof of our goodwill, I want to tell you that the culprits got into town with help from Farron Brago's organization, and...
Isaac, how could you? How could you throw in with these people? How could you let them take my family? Where are my parents and my little brother?
They're in the grave you passed on the way here. They didn't suffer, Lucia. I promise. Baby, look. I didn't mean it to go this way. I tried to stop them. I really did. I begged.
Stop talking right now.
Wait a minute. You kids were helping the Dorseys?
We thought we were in the right. The Dorseys promised that we could take down the Patriarch. They didn't say anything about murdering hostages.
What about all the other people they killed? Or was that part okay with you, Isaac?
You helped them kill Lucia's family, and you want our forgiveness?
Not forgiveness. We want to face justice. We know what we did is wrong, but...
He swallows heavily.
It was Nelius Dorsey. He went looking for your family, Lucia. Your family especially. That's why I got you out of your house before the raid. I didn't want anything to happen to you.
You didn't want anything to happen to me? So you let savages abduct and murder my family. You knew what they meant to me. You knew what their loss would do to me.
But you're still alive, Lucia. Don't you see? You're still alive, and that's what matters most to me.
Where's Nelius Dorsey now?
He escaped. He took some vehicles and headed west into the mountains. I don't think he was planning to come back.
Why did you do it, Isaac? Why betray your community?
We've been under the Patriarch's boot for 50 years. We say that the 100 families are in charge, but it's really just his family. Just him. I know you must think I'm a fuzzy-headed idealist, but this society's sick. It needs to change.
No, I think you're an idiot. You trusted psychopaths. Were the Dorseys acting alone? Did they have support from anyone else?
Farron Brygo's gang helped them get into town. I don't know how or why. And I overheard Nelius say something about Liberty Buchanan, the Patriarch's daughter. I think she's going to attack Colorado Springs. It sounded like she's gathering an army out in the plains. Something way worse than the Dorseys.
I have heard enough. If your betrayal of my family was not sufficient, your treachery here most certainly is. In the name of the Patriarch, I sentence you.
Her voice shakes, but her hand does not. You didn't even see her draw her gun.
Please, Lucia. I did this for you. All I ever meant was to help build a better world for you. For all of us. I can't tell you how much I regret. Please don't kill me. Please.
He's on his knees, snot running from his nose. Stop, Lucia. There's a better way to handle this.
A better way? I can't think of one. Not after what he did to my family. You want to let him walk away from what he's done?
No, we're going to put him under arrest. We'll make sure justice is served.
I have justice right here, in the palm of my hand. I am more than happy to mete it out. I would be delighted to be its instrument.
Okay, look. I personally think that Isaac should die. He clearly knew there was going to be collateral damage. He just couldn't see past his own personal, selfish goals. But I think it's obvious that if we let Lucia kill him, it's going to end up messing her up even more in the long run. So, you are not the law here, Lucia. You're not even deputized. This is our job, and we say he's under arrest. After a long moment, Lucia lowers her gun and looks away, tears running down her face.
Thank you. Thank you.
His voice is barely a whisper.
Come in, November 1. This is Ranger HQ Interrogative. We're getting reports of shooting in your last known location at Garden of the Gods. What's your status? Over.
We took care of the Dorseys. We'd like to hand some prisoners over to Sheriff Daisy and the Marshals.
They'll be happy to hear that, Team November, as am I. Good job getting those sumbitches. Over and out.
Marshals' Law. Handing Isaac Reed over to the Marshals will certainly start you off on the right foot with Sheriff Daisy. But if you think the boy will receive justice at her hands, then you haven't taken a close enough look at the naked bodies frozen to the pillories outside the Marshal's station. Or maybe you have. And that brings us to the end of the Wasteland 3 beta. Though it is worth noting that I believe that is just one of the 4 potential endings to the scenario. Anyway, we're well past the hour mark at this point, and my throat is obviously starting to get a bit worn down, so let's go ahead and wrap things up here, but feel free to let me know what you guys think in the comments below, or if there's anything else you'd like to see me do with the beta. For now, though, This is RetconRaider, signing off. Thanks for watching. Oh, and remember, although I do love playing Wasteland 3, you can find out more about the game by visiting the official website, the official YouTube channel, the fan-run Discord server, the official Facebook page, the official Twitter feed, or the original crowdfunding campaign over on Fig. As always, links are in the description.